So I'm in a hospital in Cumberland, Maryland, and my face looks kind of pink and healthy, but I have a broken hip. And they're going to do surgery tomorrow. What happened was I was riding in this was the fourth day of our ride from Washington, D.C. to Pittsburgh. And 4 hours onto the trail, I hit a tree root and it sent me flying. And thank God for good bicycle helmets, because I hit my head pretty hard as well. And I was trucked out of the woods on an ATV and then taken by ambulance from there, which was close to Little Orleans. So a few miles from Cumberland. And so they trucked me from there to Cumberland to the hospital where I am now. So this is my second day in the hospital in Cumberland, and surgeon came in this morning and told me that the break was in, basically the ball broke off of the femur, and so what that means is they're going to have to do a partial hip replacement. Oh joy. The one good thing right now is that I'm feeling a lot less pain than I did in the ER yesterday, and so the pain management's good. I also noticed a technical error in what I described as my ride yesterday morning. I said it was 4 hours into the ride. It was actually 4 miles into the ride, just for technical accuracy. So here I am. I'm it's about 9:30, and surgery is supposed to be at 1 or 1:30-ish. So people have been very supportive here, and my family's been supportive. My poor wife, I feel sorry that she's at home trying to figure all this stuff out. Social worker here is going to give her a call and try to lend a hand. So check with you later. It's been about 3 hours since my surgery was completed, and I'm back in my hospital room. Just finished eating the hospital dinner, and not feeling any pain, which is fantastic. The pain that I was feeling from that broken femur was pretty drastic. I never felt anything quite like that before. And right now I look worse than it actually is. Feeling pretty good, and looking forward to talking to I'm bored out of my mind, and I'm looking forward to talking to the surgeon soon and figuring out what I can do and how soon I can do it. It's the beginning of day 3 in the hospital. I was admitted on September 15th after my bicycle accident and breaking my hip. I received a partial hip replacement yesterday, the 16th. And today's the 17th, and see what happens. But I'm hoping today's the day that they get me out of bed and I walk, because I'm not the kind of a person that likes to sit here and do nothing and be bored. And getting a bit hungry too, so I'm kind of waiting for breakfast. It's about 7:05. So I had my first hour or so, not quite an hour of therapy this morning, trying to walk with a walker, and it was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I'm not sure really what I anticipated, but I got through it, and now I'm sitting on a recliner, which is kind of nice. Probably can't see the whole thing. Now I can't, but it's a reclining chair rather than the bed, which is kind of nice. It's a lot more comfortable being sat up a little. Sat up at least a little bit, and I'm going to get moved into physical therapy maybe as early as tomorrow, where I'll be doing 3 hours of therapy a day. So let you know how that goes. Today is September 18th, which is a Saturday. And last night I successfully, with the help of a couple of nurses, moved from my recliner back to the bed. And then this morning I moved in from the recovery wing after my operation, and I'm in rehab right now. And I was really pleased with how that went because I was anticipating it was painful, but there was a huge improvement between just last night and then this afternoon when they moved me. It's about 1:30 right now. They moved me about an hour ago, and so there won't be much therapy this weekend, but on Monday it will start. Tomorrow, supposedly, they're going to be doing some evaluation. I probably will get in and out of this bed with some help over the weekend because I just, I'm flat on my back right now, and that's kind of by choice because I'm relaxing after the trauma of moving into this room, and but I think maybe even later, maybe tomorrow, I'll get out of bed and sit in the recliner, and rather than lay in the bed all day. So stay tuned. I'll be back. So today's September 19th, and as you can see, I'm in street clothes. I am also sitting in a lounge chair. So I've been up, I think they got me up, first physical therapist got me up at occupational therapist. There's so many different kinds of therapists. So the occupational therapist came in first this morning at just before breakfast, probably around 7:30. And he helped me get dressed in my street clothes and get to the bathroom for a trial run, which didn't work. I'm still constipated, and got my pants on and then get into this lounge chair. Then later on, a physical therapist came in and we had some pretty intensive physical therapy, which was really encouraging for me because it's been since the 15th when I was injured that I've been able to walk as far as I did today with the help of a walker, but it was still really good and didn't hurt nearly as badly as it did yesterday. So I'm just really happy with the quantum improvement between yesterday and today. The other thing that helps is oxycodone. So, but I'll tell you, after the therapy is done and I'm all just kind of relaxed, I just crash. And so I got to back off on that a little bit, I think. The other thing is she gave me some exercises that I can do 3 reps 30 times a day for my right leg, to strengthen it for walking. And so I've been doing that as well. And that, I haven't been able to move my right leg on my own since I got here, but today was the first time I was able to do that, and that's also very encouraging. It hurts a little bit, but not like it did yesterday. So anyway, good progress, and check you tomorrow. Well, it's September 20th, and I had a very successful day of rehabilitation and therapy, and I had a session that lasted about an hour and a half. I walked down the hall to the other end of the hallway to the therapy gymnasium, and then spent over an hour there doing various exercises that the therapist was having me do, and then I walked all the way back. So it was a very good day, and I ended the day, and I'm not in any kind of pain from all of that. And I keep thinking, I'm a pretty fit person, and I could really be pushing a lot more. But I think I have to really moderate that, because I know that I could also hurt myself and deal myself a setback in my in my rehab. So I kind of let the therapist do the driving and tell me what needs to be done, and we ended there. So September 20th. Tomorrow they have a meeting of, I'm not sure what they would call it, a discharge board, maybe, that's what I would call it, where they come up with a discharge plan for each patient based on their observations for the past several days. So what I'm afraid of is that they're going to see what I can do and let me go too soon. I really need to be here a little bit longer to develop strength in my right leg, because I can't really stand unassisted for very long. And when I did it today, I did it with parallel bars right under me or with the handles of my walker, and I need to be able to do that without those things, so that I can move a walker up. Like to get into the house, for example, I'll need to move a walker up a step, and then step up the step to get into the house. So, but I think that'll come along pretty well. I developed a little bit more strength in that injured right leg today, and I'm pretty optimistic. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Hello. It's Tuesday, 21st of September. And if you just looked at my clothes and where I'm sitting, you wouldn't be able to tell, because I'm wearing the same clothes that I wore yesterday. The only thing is I am cleaner because I got out of bed this morning and had a shower and a bowel movement, which was really important because the opiates have really screwed me up. So I've been off opiates now for more than 24 hours, and the pain level is really low, which I think I'm just lucky that I was pretty fit going into this disaster, and so my recovery is in some ways being paced by the fact that my muscle tone to start with was very good. So a lot less pain today. I got up out of bed this morning. The therapist helped me into the shower. Got a shower, got dressed, and even went to the cafeteria for breakfast rather than staying in my room, which was a really great decision because other people were coming. There were only 2 other patients in the room, but the thing is, the room is also used as a storage place for medicines and stuff. So the staff was in and out of there while I was eating breakfast, and that was good for conversation. Plus, I had a really nice view of the hills outside of Cumberland, and it's a very nice place to eat. And I'll probably take lunch there and maybe even dinner, because it's better than sitting in my room. And so I'm supposed to be going to therapy. They're already about 30 minutes late. It's about 10:30. They were supposed to start at 10. And so we'll see what happens the rest of the day. But they usually find a way to fill things in when the schedule slips a little bit. So it's still early in the day, and probably talk to you later on. Hi, it's still September 21st, Tuesday, and just had a pretty full day. Finished dinner about half an hour ago, and finished therapy, my last therapy session at about 2 o'clock. And it was as I predicted. Day filled in pretty well with rehab activities. And the best was this morning. I spent an hour and a half straight doing a bunch of very good exercises for my injury. Stepping exercises mostly. I guess that's the best way to describe them. And by the end of the session, I was able to walk. Well, I would say normally with a gait. I was still using the walker, but I was following one foot after the other instead of stepping up with my left foot and then swinging my right foot out in front, which is my injured foot. So on my way back to the room, I just really felt very loose and in control, and hopefully more tomorrow, and we'll get a little better yet. I'm just really pleased with the progress, and almost embarrassed that things are going so well, because a lot of people have many more problems than I do. It's Wednesday, September 22nd, and this is probably the first kind of down day I've had, down in the respect that just kind of feeling kind of punk. I think it's been a week since I've been admitted, a little over a week now, because the accident happened on Wednesday morning a week ago. So, made really great strides. I'm walking better than ever today, but I think all the activity is just kind of wearing me out. Yesterday I kind of pushed myself during the physical therapy session, and today I did the same thing. And I think when you do that 2 days in a row, it just some of the stuff that builds up in your system to help you recover isn't really given enough of an opportunity to do that. So I think that's what's happened to me today. Eric gave me a call this evening, and that helped to cheer me up a little bit. They're coming, Marn and Eric are coming on Saturday to pick me up, and I'm looking forward to that with some trepidation, because I'm going to have to learn to take care of myself in kind of a weakened state. My right leg is still pretty weak, and I'm taking some steps here to kind of grease the skids. Tonight I'll get myself ready for bed by myself, and tomorrow I'll get up and get dressed by myself and see how that works. And it's 7:30, so it's almost ready. It's almost time for bed, and kind of looking forward to that. Going to bed, sleeping soundly, recovering, and waking up with an improved attitude tomorrow morning. So good night for now. Today is Thursday, September 23rd, and I had all of my therapy today, so I'm done with that, and I feel a lot better after that than I did yesterday. And I think one of the reasons is I just decided to take it a little easy, and I'm independent now, which means I can walk around if I wanted to. And I did a couple of little times here just to clean up things in the room and go look out the window in the hallway, but I'm going to take it easy on that also, because I'm not sure that that's a great idea to be traipsing around the hallways, pushing my limits. I want to avoid pushing my limits. And still the plan is Marn and Eric are traveling tomorrow and will pick me up on Saturday when I get discharged, and we're off to go home. And I have a lot of anxiety over that. Not a lot of anxiety, but again, we did some practice today in therapy, climbing stairs and getting into of course, sort of try to simulate getting into a car, and all of that stuff. It's just, we'll just have to deal with it as it goes and as it evolves. But because there's still a lot of unknowns, being able to get up the stairs in my house and be able to get in the front door is going to be an unusual challenge potentially, because there are no railings, and I used to dealing with railings here. This is a rehab center, and my walker has two handles on it, and when we train and do therapy, I'm between two parallel bars. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing is I've considered what's going to happen to my bicycle touring career, and I think some of my early musings on the topic are that I may not go back to it, but it all depends. I'm going to have to get back on the horse, and one of the things that I'm going to have to overcome is just an anxiety over getting injured again. Every time you hop on a bike, anytime you go on a tour, anytime you're on a training ride, there's always a risk that you're going to suffer an injury. So, and in this case, I just kind of got the worst case scenario happen to me. And I've fallen off my bike before, so I didn't really think anything of it. I don't think I've ever fallen off going as fast as I was going this time, and that was another factor in the severity of the consequences. By the way, I was only going between 10 and 15 miles an hour, so it's not like I was going at a breakneck speed. But it's still difficult when you hit a tree root to maintain control when you're going that fast, and the wheels just came off the ground. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I know that I'll be getting back on top of a bike, back in the saddle to give it a shot. Other other questions are, am I going to be strong enough to be able to pedal? And am I going to need an e-bike? Am I going to transition to an e-bike? Again, just all kinds of open questions. Fortunately, I started this journey with the injury. I'm very fit, and so the chances are that I'm going to be able to get back on my surly long-haul trucker and keep on trucking. So that's kind of an open thing, but again, in the back of my mind, always. So tomorrow, my last therapy session, and following day, I'm out of here. And looking forward to it, even though it's making me a little bit anxious. I'm still looking forward to leaving and going back home. It'll be a lot easier to deal with ongoing therapy at home. So that's it for now. So I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, and I had a really good morning this morning. Got up at about 7 and pretty much showered, went to the bathroom, showered, and dressed myself, except I still can't put my socks on, and I won't be able to for a while. And if it's up to me, I think I'm going to end up foregoing socks for a while, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to get dressed in the morning, and I really don't need socks. So so far so good this morning. I'm really kind of upbeat this morning because I feel pretty good. Some pain when I walk still. I have to be careful how I walk, but I'm not dragging my leg. I'm my injured leg. I'm walking with it, bearing a lot more weight than I today and yesterday and the day before. Just it's been a successive bunch of steps to bearing more and more weight on the leg, and this morning doing pretty good. Gonna have breakfast probably within the next 15 minutes. Talk to you later. It's still Friday, September 24th. I just finished, about an hour ago, I finished my physical therapy session for the afternoon, and now I'm just waiting for my wife, Marn, and my son, Eric, to arrive. They're probably about 2 hours away now. And just kind of contemplating what I'm going to do for the next 2 hours before dinner gets delivered to my room, but also contemplating the difficulties I'm going to have when I get home and the day-to-day stuff, getting into a shower, going to bed at night, feeding myself, all that's getting around the house. That's going to work out fine. The thing that I'm most apprehensive about is the physical therapy that I'm going to have to do at home. Today for an hour and a half, Kevin coached me. It's nice to have his coaching and to go through the different exercises. It's also kind of nice to have that pressure of somebody standing over you, like a drill instructor. He wasn't certainly not a drill instructor, but it was helpful having him there coaching me. So I'm going to have to go through those same rigorous exercises at home, and I'm going to have the discipline to do that. And that's going to be the hard part. Hour and a half of fairly strenuous and sometimes painful physical therapy at home, self-directed, is going to be something. I have to say a lot for this hospital, UPMC Western Maryland. The staff here in the rehab wing are really great. The people who do the therapy have worked together for, I get the feeling they've been working together for over 15 years. And so there's a lot of collaboration, and there's a lot of good feelings among the people and the staff. And that really comes out for people who are receiving the therapy in the gymnasium, the therapy gym, because there's a lot of joy in the room. You know, there's laughter, there's jokes, and it's a lighthearted atmosphere. It gets serious when it needs to. You know, they are quite professional. Nevertheless, they've got a sense of humor, and it really helps a whole lot. I think it helps the attitude of the patients in that room who are there for therapy. It can't help but be a positive thing. So my hat's off to UPMC Western Maryland. The nurses also, there were a lot more nurses. I dealt with a lot more nurses than I did the therapists. There were really two main therapists, but every shift there were lots of nurses who were taking care of patients with all kinds of special needs. And my hat's off to them as well. It's hard to single an individual out for in that case, because there are so many of them doing a great job. And I also felt that they collaborate well with the doctor in making care decisions, and that was kind of impressive to see that. That has to be a really rewarding way for them to be able to work. So anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully my family comes by to visit me in a couple hours when they arrive, and I'll be talking to you later. This has been my home for the last 7 days, since last Saturday when I was admitted into the rehab unit at the UPMC Western Maryland Hospital. It's amazing how far I've come since the first rehab session. Today is Saturday, September 25th. My date of discharge. My wife and son arrived here last night and spent some time with me before going back to their hotel. And hopefully I'll be discharged today between 2 and 3, hopefully earlier, because we'd like to get some miles on today before we have about a 9.5 hour drive to our home in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. So hopefully we'll get an early start. So this is the end of my short-term rehab. They have been very successful in making me pretty self-sufficient. I'm going home with quite a bit of confidence. We'll have to make a few changes to our house short-term to make it easier for me to get around, but I have a lot of confidence in my long-term recovery, because they've given me a good baseline here, as I'm being released from UPMC Western Maryland, the name of the hospital. So that's it for the saga for now. If you're interested in my longer-term recovery, I'll probably do some other videos on that. But for right now, this is the end of this saga, and thanks for watching.